Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's late night Q&A with ZodWriter. And with me tonight is everybody's favorite Restore the Snyderverse panelist. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome for the first time by himself on late night Q&A with ZodWriter, BatDan530. Welcome to the show, BatDan.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to do this.
I'm so glad that you're here, man. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I've been wanting to get you on here for a while. I got something special planned. I want to go over the most recent Geekosity article written by Mikey Sutton and Edwin Francisco about Ezra Miller. Warner Brothers Discovery confident Ezra Miller will seek help in the coming months. You and I will go over that article together today with the chat, and we will discuss a little bit because I know you've been a very staunch defender of Ezra Miller over the last couple of months since all of this crazy stuff has gone down. So there's a lot of stuff that we're definitely going to cover tonight, and I'm really excited. Apparently, we've got quite a few people in the chat today already, because again, you are a super beloved person in the community, and I, for one, am very very happy that you're here with me tonight. We've got the good Austin in the chat, and he starts off right away with saying, I might have to catch the replay on this one, my friends. If anything, I'll be able to join the chat late. Much love to you both. I can't wait to learn more about the incredible BatDan. Yes, absolutely. And Super Bro Corey says it's time. We've got Super Bro Corey in the chat. That alone is very monumental. It's wonderful to have Super Bro Corey. We've got Skywalker the Jedi checking things out as always. Skywalker the Jedi, thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for stopping by last night when I did the Rare Open panel. And Super Bro Corey is shouting out Skywalker. We've got the BatDan. The Bat Channel and the BatDan. This show is going to be fire. Technical difficulties, yes, definitely. Hopefully, y'all can hear Dan. Put a one in the chat if you can hear Dan. Dan, can you speak, please?
Testing, testing. Restore the Snyderverse.
Okay.
Prove Matt Jarbo wrong.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, and that's another thing I definitely want to get. I'm definitely going to want to get your take on. Yes, we are going to talk about RJ and Matt Jarbo tonight. That is not off limits. That will be brought up and that will be discussed. Okay, because those guys, continue with their BS. So that'll be brought up as well. We've got Bat Channel saying have a kick-ass show. And Skywalker, definitely doing his thing. uh, yeah, know what that's like, Batman. Yeah, the technical difficulties, absolutely. We got Chad Snyderverse in the chat. Looking forward to this. We got the Savage Bat, Super Bro Court. We got everybody in here. Let's just be honest. Everybody's here to see you, Batman. Everybody here wants to hear what you have to say. So please, Batman, tell us, what do you think about all this stuff going on right now?
Well, I think we have a lot of great stuff happening with the Snyderverse. I think I'm very confident in Mikey Sutton. Things are looking well for the Snyderverse. Again, my only concerns right now, honestly, is the Ezra Miller stuff because I'll give you my stance right now. I hope things work out that Ezra Miller can still do Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 because my thought with this is we don't really know everything what's going on because quite frankly a lot of this stuff has turned out to be not as true as we thought. you know I mean, even if you watch the Savage Bats interview, it seems like even the stuff that I thought Ezra Miller was guilty of, they are not quite as guilty of. So it's hard to judge though because we don't know everything. That's the thing.
Could you explain a little bit of why you feel so strongly about all this Ezra Miller stuff?
I'm always I'm a big believer in innocent until proven guilty. I'm a big believer in that people should not be able to just make an accusation and people should just go without proof. And I just all the actors in the Snyderverse kind of mean a lot to me. I've these past 2 years with COVID and all the drama in the world, the Snyderverse has always been like my comfort. And all these actors, in a way, they've helped me get through these past 2 years. And Ezra Miller, I'll kind of give you my stance on Ezra Miller a little bit. When Ezra Miller got an Instagram account, they started following a lot of people, including me. And again, these past 2 years, just the world's gone the world's gone downhill. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to go into specifics about that. And when Ezra Miller followed me on Instagram, it made me feel special. As stupid as that sounds, I just can't believe that someone like that could be that bad of a person. Again, this stream may age terribly. We may get a bunch of stuff to come out that I can't really, that gives that proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But at this moment, at this present moment in time on July 3rd, that has not happened yet. So
I gotta say, I definitely admire the way that you've been, handling your feelings towards Ezra Miller this entire time. I think that that's admirable and much, so much respect to you on that. And of course, the Savage Bat. Did you get a chance to see the interview that Savage Bat did with um, Ezra Miller's partner?
yes, in fact, that's actually one of the big reasons that I'm even more vocal about it now than I've already have been. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't really prepared to defend Ezra Miller for the chair incident, other than Ezra, please get help, please get help. But after watching that interview, I'm less than. I'm like, wait, what? That has a decent explanation. Something I didn't expect to. Honestly, the only excuse that I can ever think of is self-defense, and according to Ezra's partner Anna Rose, that's exactly what it was. So, I mean, yes, it's not great that it hit someone on accident, but there was a reason that Ezra threw the chair in the first place. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's always, it's like they say, there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. Shout out to the lovely Sherry. It's always great to see the lovely Sherry in the chat. It makes me extremely happy to see her here. I'm just like taken aback by all the support that we all receive for these late night Q&A panels. People seem to really love these, and I'm so excited and happy to be doing them. And again, having BatDan here, it's like having one of my it's like being in the room with one of my best friends, because Dan and I have gotten to know each other quite a bit over these years, and it's really amazing. And I have to apologize to you, Dan, because I feel like you should have been on late night Q&A a long time ago. But I know you were in the middle of a move and you had a lot of things going on at the time too, so
yeah.
it's understandable. Skywalker, the Jedi, said had to dip out for a bit, but I'm back. Well, we're glad that you're back, Skywalker. Definitely. Koopy Malik says, I smell something fishy. Is it fish or is it fish? I think it's fish. What about you, Bat Dan?
Are you talking metaphorically, something smelling fishy, Koopy, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I think he's.
I think a lot of it's fishy because, and as Chad Snyder said, I've been saying this. Ezra literally is Johnny Depp, and is that, and that's actually why I think WBD needs to be very careful with what they do next with Ezra Miller, because here's the big thing. If they decide, hey, we're not working with Ezra Miller anymore, they recast Ezra, and then it turns out it leaks more to the general public, hey, Ezra Miller's innocent of all this stuff, or there's decent explanations. They made the exact same mistake. The new regime will have repeated a mistake of the old regime, and long term that will bite them in the ass. So that's exactly. And they don't. Here's another point I kind of want to make, is that they don't even need to decide what they want to do with Ezra Miller right now, because if you go off what Mikey Sutton says, they still have 2 years before they even have to really think about starting casting for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. If they do Man of Steel 2 first, so much can change between now and then. So,
Absolutely, I agree with you. So much. There's a lot of time, and I really feel like that's one of the main reasons why they pushed the movie back so far, so that they could work all this stuff out. Because again, there was there were issues. There's been issues with Ezra Miller for a while now, but we have this article from Mikey Sutton and Edwin Francisco from Geekosity. So what I want to do is I want to read the article, and then I want to kind of go, kind of analyze it a little bit with you and see what you have to say, Dan. Warner Brothers Discovery is optimistic Ezra Miller will seek help in the coming months. Thus, The Flash will not be thrown onto HBO Max instead of a theatrical release. Sources revealed this is Warner Brothers Discovery's final decision, unless, of course, Ezra Miller gets into worse trouble. But Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't envision that happening. On January 25th, I said that Warner Brothers Discovery is leaning towards releasing The Flash in theaters with a $200 million budget. It's their best choice. In other words, pick your poison. After all, HBO Max would be a huge financial loss, without a doubt. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav won't bite that bullet. Going forward, Warner Brothers Discovery has no plans to include Ezra Miller in press tours to promote The Flash. After all, they have other big names such as Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck to fill the void if need be. Unfortunately, this comes with yet another scandal. A German woman accuses Ezra Miller of making her feel that her life is in danger in her own home. It just seems like Ezra Miller's bad behavior keeps on getting worse, from drug possession, a few accounts of disorderly conduct, harassment, and now they are in hiding. Now, with so much news surrounding the Flash star, Warner Brothers Discovery has removed them from future projects. This includes a rumored and planned HBO Max series starring Miller. Variety recently reviewed a German woman, didn't want her name revealed, so instead of her name identity, they called her Nadia. Warner Brothers Discovery confident Ezra Miller will seek help in coming months. Um, what do you think before we get into this stuff about Nadia? What do you think about this? Because they interviewed this woman, and again, the woman doesn't want to come forward with her full information or anything like that. What do you think? Do you think this is just another person coming out trying to be an opportunist and get their name, get their moment in the sun? I mean, I don't really know, because to me it sounds like if you don't want to come out there and put your name out there and attach your name to this, it's like, what do you have to hide? If what you're saying is true, then you shouldn't really have a problem coming out and putting your name out there.
Well, a big reason why I'm kind of leaning towards this not being true is previous patterns. Is, again, the media misreported the chair incident. Then Ezra was allegedly grooming Takata/Gibson, but then Gibson came out, said, "Hey, this not happened." Ezra allegedly groomed another girl, and then Gibson came out again saying, "No, my dad paid this family a lot." Ezra kidnapped a woman and 3 children. In the Rolling Stones article, according to Sill, I didn't read it yet, but according to Sill, that article debunked themselves. Because in the
Yeah.
same article, it said that Ezra saved them. And then I, again, saw the interview with Savage Bat, which, again, Savage Bat, great, phenomenal job. You did a really good job on that interview. But again, that was proven not true. Another, I forget, it was like GQ magazine, someone correct me in the chat, where they even hid Anna Rose's response.
Yeah.
So there's too much of a pattern here for me to automatically take this claim at face value.
I agree. And let's not forget that Ezra Miller, according to some, was allegedly in Tokyo just recently, fighting with Elvis, Austin Butler, the guy that plays Elvis in the new Baz Luhrmann biopic. I you know that's another problem I have. It's been proven that he wasn't in Tokyo. Okay, so that was more BS. Okay, and now people are making a big deal out of this TikTok video. And I don't know if you heard about this, Batdan, but
I
there's a
saw it.
TikTok video where this kid is meets Ezra Miller and bumps into Ezra Miller in a grocery store and wants to take a picture with Ezra Miller. And he's recording it for TikTok, and he's real nervous. And Ezra Miller says something, and I'm paraphrasing, to the effect of, well, if you're nervous, I can just knock you out and you won't be nervous anymore. Now, you can watch the video and you can clearly see, okay, that Ezra Miller is just having fun. It's just joke. He's just goofing around with the kid because he knows that the kid is nervous and he's just trying to, ease his nerves, that kind of thing. But so many people are making a big deal out of it, saying, "Oh, Ezra's doing this. Oh, Ezra's at it again. He's making kids nervous, threatening to knock this kid out." He didn't threaten to knock the kid out. That's not what happened. It's on video on TikTok, and they're making a big deal out of it. So that was something else that I thought about, but it just seems to me like everything that seems to come out about them is essentially proven to be false or just empty in terms of where it actually goes. A lot of it seems to me, gets taken out of context, and I'm trying not to make any judgments, but I'm seeing constant constant stuff come out that just doesn't seem to be true. So anybody can accuse anybody of anything. But if you don't have proof to back it up, it's just allegations. And unfortunately, it seems like we're living in a world now where that's all we need is allegations. Somebody accuses you of something and you're automatically guilty of it, regardless of whether or not they can back it up, regardless of whether or not, I mean, the burden of proof is always always used to be, at least in the United States, always used to be on the accuser. Now it seems like the burden of proof is on the accused. It's like we're always, especially now with social media, everything is all about the court of public opinion and what people think. And I got to be honest, I mean, there are some dumb as hell people in this world. There's people that, they don't actually read articles. They don't actually pay attention to what's being said or what people are saying. They make their judgments based off of a headline that they read. So all these people are seeing these headlines, Dan. They're seeing Ezra Miller is fighting with Elvis in Tokyo. It doesn't have to be true because all they're looking at is the headline. They're not reading the article. So they're getting the headline and they're taking the headline as at face value as truth. And I think that that's BS. And I will always speak up against that type of stuff because I think that that's the problem with the society and the world we're living in. Actually take the time to find out, do your research, read the actual articles, listen to the words that are being said, pay attention to what you read rather than just jump to conclusions based on a goofy headline like the Rolling Stone article that Sill called out is a perfect example of that, of just they debunked themselves within the first two sentences of the article, and yet it doesn't matter because the headline is all that matters to people. Like Ezra Miller kidnapped so and so. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't know how you feel in terms of where we are going as a world globally in terms of you're accused and you're automatically guilty. But to me, that's BS, and I don't have time for it. And I hate all these cancel culture fanatics too. Somebody threatened to cancel me yesterday. Threatened to cancel me yesterday, and then said at the end after that they said probably after they threatened to cancel me. So they tried to walk it back. So I'm like, good luck. I mean, I'm always respectful and fair with everybody, but good luck trying to cancel me. So what do you think, Dan? How do you feel about all that? This is really a hot button topic for me.
I feel the exact same way you do. I mean, one point I want to make is that today it's Ezra Miller. Tomorrow it's you or me. And this has always been a concern of mine. It has always been a concern that anyone can just make an accusation and you're guilty like that. We've gone. I mean, this is what really bothers me about this in particular. Ezra's alleged victims have come out and debunked it, and that's like, I've always thought that the whole concept of believing victims. I understand that's up to debate, but I never thought it would be up to debate when they're saying that someone didn't do something. Like, and this is what really gets me. These people who claim to care about Gibson, who claim to care about Anna Rose, do you realize that if you get this wrong, you are helping put them in danger? You are potentially helping put Gibson back with abusive parents. You are potentially helping put Anna Rose back with an abusive partner. Does that not concern some of these people? And this is what really kind of gets me too. I think a lot of it is like, you have the Grant Gustin fans who have this huge boner for Grant Gustin. It's like they want him in like every Flash thing ever. And I think a lot of them, they're believing that Ezra's guilty because they really want to see Grant Gustin in the DCEU. And it's like, I actually have the name Grant and Gustin both muted on Twitter now. But that's one issue I have. But as you said, we've gone from innocent until proven guilty to guilty until proven innocent to innocent or guilty even if proven innocent.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to now. It's gotten to the point where whether or not you're guilty doesn't matter because the perception has been put into people's minds with the allegations. So now it's as though once you're accused of something, it may very well not be true. It could be complete BS, but at the end of the day, you've already planted the seed in people's heads like, this person is a criminal, this person is a kidnapper, this person is this person is that, and it's automatic. This is why that whole Johnny Depp thing happened. You had all those accusations, you had all that stuff that was out there. And again, whether Johnny Depp is guilty or innocent didn't matter at the time. All that mattered was that people were accusing. People had put, so in other words, now accusations are just as bad as guilt. If you're accused of something, you might as well have done it in the world we're living in because so many people are going to have that perception of you. They are going to believe that that is true regardless. I mean, you're going to have, your friends and your family who are going to back you up, but the average, person that doesn't know you, doesn't know anything about you is going to see a headline and is going to say, well, yeah, and they're going to jump to conclusions and be irrational because again, a lot of people are stupid. They really are. And they don't have any desire to know the facts. They don't have any desire. It's almost like, how they would say things like, you can reason with a person, but you can't reason with a mob. Well, that's what's happened with social media. With social media, all you get is a bunch of people dogpiling on another person. So there is no, well, if you can reason with a person, you can talk to a person one on one. That's why the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial was so important because you got to hear people's individual testimonies. You got to hear things that were being spoken directly one by one. And this way, you didn't have the mob there on social media dogpiling. See, this is the problem that Ezra Miller is facing right now because so many are jumping to conclusions based on headlines that they have read that he's automatically guilty. And even if it comes out, BatDan, that there's no legitimate proof that Ezra Miller is guilty, you're always going to have that perception because Ezra Miller has made some mistakes and has been involved in some goofy stuff. He's made some mistakes that are not debatable. We know he's made those mistakes. We have proof that he's made those mistakes. But I'm talking about the stuff that he's being accused of now. There's literally no proof whatsoever of any of these things. But because he has a history of other goofy stuff, people just automatically assume that these current allegations are true, and that's a big problem, and that's where, that's where I'm at. So I mean, I'm looking at this Geekosity article, and I wanted to know, did you want me to get into the interview with this German woman who is speaking out against them?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, let's see what she says here. Nadia stated that in February 2022, she invited Ezra Miller to her place. She said that they have already been friends for 2 years, but when Ezra wanted to smoke inside her home and she refused, they became enraged, Nadia stated. Um, then just uh, what that just set them off. I asked them to leave about 20 times, maybe more. They started insulting me. I'm a transphobic piece of shit. I'm a Nazi. It became so stressful for me. They were going around my house, looking at everything, touching everything, spreading tobacco leaves on the floor. It felt disgusting and very intrusive. Nadia has said that Ezra Miller's actions gave her the feeling of being unsafe. But she also pointed out that she never felt that there was any risk of sexual assault. She has been friends with Ezra Miller since January 2020. She described them as they were super caring, super nice. I had no reason to suspect anything bad was ever going to happen with them. They'd been super nice to me, and I didn't feel good to not show up and to refuse their invitations. I thought maybe I've lost a friend because we've missed each other so many times. Um, uh, when when they met in February 2022, everything was all well and good until Ezra Miller prepared his cigarette, she said. I was like, yeah, you need to smoke this outside on the balcony. There's no smoking in my house. After that, Ezra Miller's personality suddenly changed. They told Nadia that tobacco is sacred and that they could do whatever they wanted. At some point, they even told her to sit down. Ezra Miller even said that they were talking to her like a dog. She told them to leave, but they were persistent and she had to call the police. So what do you think, BatDan? How do you process this German woman, Nadia's testimony here, or her confession about Ezra, or her claims about whatever this altercation was about them?
Well, here's kind of the biggest hole in the story was at the end. You mentioned that the interview said that the police came to arrest Ezra. Why do we not hear about that? A celebrity does not get arrested without us hearing about it.
Well, it says that she called the yeah, says that she called the police. It didn't doesn't say he was arrested for it. It says that she called the police. And then the article continues, while waiting for the police, Ezra Miller continued talking, and Nadia described it. And now this is a quote from Nadia. She says, they started to shout that they were a rape survivor, and I was triggering them. They started to say I had assaulted them, I had beat them up, I had hurt them. What? Eventually, she was able to lock them out of her home. Since then, she has blocked their number on her phone. The details of the event are elaborate. It could have been made up, but she does have people uh, who corroborated her account of events. They even included a social that even included a social worker and and a lawyer. Oh yeah, we know social workers and lawyers never lie about anything. And then she quotes here. She says one of Nadia's friends said, and this is a quote from Nadia's friend, I was worried. I think she was misled. She had a memory of them from when they had time in LA, and and what she got in Berlin was really different. It sounded dangerous. Nadia filed a criminal complaint against Ezra Miller. The German state prosecutor's office has said that they did investigate Ezra Miller for trespassing. Once Ezra Miller left Germany, they did not continue with the investigation. Regardless of Ezra Miller's attempts to get therapy, Zaslav apparently has seen enough. Warner Brothers Discovery intends to move forward with the DCEU without Ezra Miller. And that concludes the article, the story about the nameless German woman who they called Nadia for the sake of the article.
Well, one again, start by saying one reason I do love Mikey Sutton and Sill so much is that they will give us bad news that we don't want to hear because they're not going to just sugarcoat it. I mean, I fully believe Mikey Sutton in that is this is what he's hearing right now, and I fully believe at this present moment in time that is WBD's plan. But in terms of this German woman, it's hard. If this were like the first accusation or some of these other stuff that came out was proven true, I would take this a lot more seriously. But the problem is there's so much BS that's already been deproven that it's kind of hard for me to take this seriously. On one hand, I see some people are. I mean, what's the point of going nameless? I mean, if this really happened, Ezra knows exactly who's testifying against them.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. It's like, okay, Nadia, allegedly beautiful woman from Germany that they want to spend time with. He's gonna know, yeah, just like you said, he's gonna know exactly who is saying these things if it's true. So why is it a big deal? Why that she can't just come straight out? And then I love how the article brings up the idea of the story being corroborated from a lawyer and a social worker, as if, like I said earlier, as if they never lie, as if they're infallible people. Now it's funny, they could have said like a like a church pastor and a Dalai Lama corroborated her story or something. Like I don't whatever you say, or a fireman and a professional bowler corroborated her story. I mean, who cares? Like why is that relevant to the situation at all? I
I
don't
mean,
I don't know.
anonymous corroborations to me are nothing because again, it's all nameless. I mean, how do we know it's not one person making all this stuff up? Again,
I sympathize, Skywalker. Skywalker the Jedi says my mom keeps asking me about Ezra. Yeah, it's funny because we do all of this stuff where we talk about all these things on a regular basis, and it's not like we're experts in this area, but it's funny to me because I feel like I feel like I grew up with a nose to smell past all the BS. And I can sniff out BS, and a lot of these stories smell like BS to me. They just do. They don't have any validity. So you're telling me that because they had an alleged freak out or panic attack while smoking a cigarette or wanting to smoke a cigarette in your house, that it got that insane to where you had to kick them out of your house? I mean, I don't. I'm failing to get it. I'm failing to grasp it. And it sounds like Ezra was more scared of her than she was of them at that point, because in the article it says that he went on and he kept saying that he was a rape survivor, that they were a rape survivor. I'm having a real hard time with these pronouns, but yeah, it just to me it all just sounds a bunch of BS. So I will sum up this article the way people were talking about me. Remember, Zod, you are canceled. Probably. So I will. So we'll add that onto this article. Nadia is telling the truth. Probably. Okay. I mean, let's just qualify, because this is what it is. You can read anything you want, and people aren't going to necessarily pay any attention to what you're saying per se, because they're only paying attention to the headline. So you could write this entire article and have it be 99% BS, and at the end you just add probably, and that's how you walk it back, and that's how you cover yourself in case, in case it just turns out that, guess what, it's not true. But hey, probably. uh it's so easy to say probably, though. That is so perfect. Unbelievable. Let's see. Yes. Super Bro Corey says, haha, cancel Zod. Yes. What's up, Zod? What's up, bots? What's up, chat? What's up, Showcast? Okay, yeah, we read that about you having to explain to your mom about Ezra. That's I don't know, man. I wouldn't really know what to say. Somebody asks me about Ezra. All I can say is that for me, there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. And the truth is usually somewhere in the middle between uh, both sides of the story. So you kind of get, but it's so funny because a lot of these accusations are things that are being taken out of context, mostly being taken out of context anyway.
Well,
So
the chair thing is a huge one. Like the context of the chair incident is that the context is hugely important.
It's hugely important. Yes.
Like there's a huge difference between throwing a chair at someone out of anger and throwing a chair at someone because they pulled a knife out. Like,
yeah. You can take anything and slant it to present your point of view. I mean, nowadays there's video editing, there's deep fakes, there's all kinds of things you can do to slant anything to your point of view. You can, as long as you have, and all you need to make your point of view valid is to have people that believe what you believe. That's all you need. You don't need the truth to make what you are saying have validity. People, as long as people follow what you're saying, and as long as they support you, and as long as they're part of your bubble or part of your echo chamber, you are not going to have any issues making them believe what you want them to believe. And at this point, I feel like that's what's happening to Ezra. It's a smear campaign that's so elaborate where they're just literally throwing anything out there to see what sticks, like just like throwing spaghetti at the wall until they finally get something that sticks to Ezra Miller and leads to criminal charges. I really feel like that's what this is about. So they throw out the thing, the completely baseless thing about Ezra Miller fighting with Elvis in Tokyo. We know that's not true. That was debunked. He wasn't even in Tokyo. That makes no sense. But so it didn't stick. So forget about that. We got this German woman that's making these accusations about an argument over smoking a cigarette. Honestly, did anybody get hurt during that argument? No. Is that argument did him smoking that cigarette and getting tobacco leaves all over her floor and she had to clean it all up, did that really hurt her per se? No, it was an inconvenience maybe, but it didn't really hurt her. So there's nothing to it then. It's baseless, even if it's proven to be true. There's nothing. It's not going to get him. He's not going to get locked up because of that. And the article even states that the German authorities stopped investigating it as soon as he left Germany. So they don't care either. So if they don't care, why should we care? What is the point of putting this stuff out? We're also at a point now, Dan, where I feel like we know way too much about these people's personal lives than we need to know. I don't understand. I don't care about the disagreements that Ezra Miller gets into with people. I don't care if there was a slight altercation between Ezra Miller and some woman because she didn't want him to smoke in her house. That doesn't concern me. That doesn't concern you. That doesn't concern any of the fans. It has no bearing on any of the movies that he's in. Who cares? I'm at the point where, like, unless it's something substantial where the guy could face or they can face criminal charges and in effect be locked up for what they've done, then it's not important. Don't even bother to bring it up, because it sounds to me all the stuff that we're hearing now about the stuff with him trying to protect his partner and all that. That sounds like a domestic dispute. That has nothing to do with anything with this man professionally. So technically, if you're gonna go down that road once again, did Ezra hurt somebody? Did Ezra shoot somebody? Did Ezra kill somebody? Was Ezra abusing anybody? If he wasn't, and you don't have any evidence to back up your claims, then just shut up. We don't want to hear about it. We're sick of hearing about it. And I said this earlier: put up or shut up. Give us something on Ezra, or leave Ezra the F alone and let him get on with his life. That's the way I see it, because it just seems like we don't have to know about everything. We've all done things in our lives that as kids, teenagers, growing up. We've all done things that we're not proud of in our lives that we wish we didn't do. Everybody has things like that, and it's part of growing up. It's part of maturing. It's part of being, growing as a person. And yeah, Ezra Miller may do some things that may seem a bit sketchy to people, but if Ezra's not doing criminal stuff, we don't care. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't. It's like they're gonna be complaining about Ezra. Ezra has a live performance somewhere where he's gonna come out in front of people and talk to people, and they're gonna complain and say Ezra's a diva, and Ezra wanted to be served M&Ms, but he wanted all the green M&Ms to be pulled out of the jar before he was served M&Ms. And unfortunately, the girl that was serving him the M&Ms accidentally left one green M&M in the jar, and he flipped out on everybody. They were saying all sorts of disrespectful things. They were throwing chairs, throwing pillows. They were just going absolutely bananas, all because this woman left one green M&M in the jar of M&Ms, and that pissed Ezra Miller off. Now, I could make up that story, make up some context, put it out there. People will read the headline, Ezra Miller freaks out over green M&M, and they will judge the man based on the headline, or him or them, or whatever the correct pronouns are.
They're probably doing that right now. Variety probably is watching this video, and they're probably writing the article.
Writing the article right now about the green M&M. And I just made that up. I just pulled it out of my butt right now while I was talking to you. It's that easy. It's that simple to come up with something that's not true, that's BS, that people will believe because it fits the negative narrative that is being portrayed. It's ridiculous. Ezra's a diva. He doesn't like green M&Ms. Woman assaulted over green M&M by Ezra Miller. You know what? It to me, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and we've got probably exactly. This is it right here. Probably. And we've got to point this out. Thank you, Skywalker the Jedi. That Trey checked his watch. Yeah, hashtag. Yeah, definitely.
Trey checked his watch.
Probably. That's a good. That's true. Probably. He probably checked his watch. Oh my God. What's up, Sox Bulletin? Great to see you here. Let's see. Super Bro Corey says, hashtag Trey checked his watch. Hashtag the truth will set you free.
And well, here's what really bothers me is that if this stuff is true, Ezra's saving people. Ezra is the literal embodiment of a superhero. Like Ezra really rescued a woman from abusive parents or non-binary. I'm gonna try my best, people. I apologize if I get something wrong. We're trying. But yeah, if Ezra rescued someone from abusive parents, if they really rescued a woman and 3 kids from a domestic abuser, is that not the embodiment of a superhero? That's the biggest thing that gets me.
Not when you're being targeted for some reason, and they are being targeted for some reason. I don't know why, but it just feels like they're being targeted. There's some sort of agenda against him for some reason, against them. That's trying to get out of the habit of saying him, but I mean it's Ezra Miller. I don't know.
Here's the point. Speaking of that, though, is that look, I don't mind the people who accidentally say he or slip up, but I see a lot of people, they will overemphasize the word he. They'll put like he in caps letters, or they'll put he in an asterisk correcting they. I see a lot of that happening too, and that, look, I don't want to get all political here, but I do believe in basic respect, and when I see stuff like that happening, I question why you're hating Ezra. And well, someone brought up a really good point, is that essentially there's, in the political spectrum, Ezra kind of has both things working against him.
Yes.
Ezra being non-binary, one side, the side that normally says don't listen to the media, is now listening to the media, and then the other side that says believe accusers is attacking Ezra. So Ezra's kind of getting both of that.
You know, again, until Ezra does something that is criminal, I just don't want to hear about it anymore. It's gotten to that point. Like, you know, Ezra stunk up a local Long John Silver's bathroom. You know, like those are the types of, that's the equivalent of what we're getting with a lot of these articles nowadays. Who cares?
Uh-oh, Ezra Miller just broke into my apartment. I see him right now. He's coming in and he's coming after me. See how easy that is?
They are coming after you, not he. You see?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see what the problem is? See, this is what I'm talking about, right? There's no, and this is the other thing. There's no accountability for any of it. People can write up anything they want. They can make it all. It's a bold-faced lie. They know it's a lie when they write it. They know it's a lie when they put it out there, but they don't care. It's all just about clicks and views and influencing people towards a certain agenda. That's it. That's all it is. It's all about agendas. I don't see any reason to continue going at this individual when there's nothing substantial or criminal that they've been able to prove. Either prove it or shut up. If you don't have nothing, you don't have nothing, you don't have nothing. I don't care how many people he goes to take pictures with on TikTok and he makes jokes about knocking them out. If he doesn't literally knock this kid out, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually why I have canceled TMZ, and like my YouTube name, my Twitter name right now is literally because I want media accountability. Because it's, again, the point is, if we don't, even people who do not like Ezra Miller should be concerned about this, because how do you know that's not going to happen to you next? I mean, like, what if someone just found where I work, called my place and said, hey, Dan said this to me, and then I lost my job? They could just make an accusation, I could lose my job. Like that.
That's very possible. And that's why I say we're at a point now where that's the law of the land now. That's the new way of being able to get back at people you don't like, by simply making stuff up that's not true, making an accusation, and then it doesn't matter if everybody believes the accusation, because you only need a certain amount of people to believe the accusation, and when they believe the accusation, that's enough for your life to be ruined. So if, for example, like the example you gave about how somebody could make up an allegation against you and find out your employer, call your employer, make that accusation, and then boom, you're done. You're not working there anymore. You've lost your job based on an accusation. not based off of something that you actually did, not based off of something that there's actual proof that you did it. No, they're just taking people's word at face value on everything.
And I'll be honest with you, even when Ray Fisher first spoke out, I I made sure not to just take his word right away. I waited for stuff to play out. I waited for more to come out because I was that same thing as I don't want to just believe anyone who makes an accusation, even people I like. I waited till stuff came out. Then I started saying stuff like with I stand with Ray Fisher. But I waited. I was patient. I didn't just believe it right. I did. I'll put it like this: I don't believe or disbelieve people. I wait for stuff to come out, see where it goes from there. That's that's how you should that's how you should do it.
I was always brought up to believe that somebody is innocent until proven guilty. I've always believed that. That's always been an ideal. I would never just make a wild accusation against somebody or believe a wild accusation just because people, just because it's popular to dogpile on a certain person right now. Showcast says they've turned social media into a social weapon that will convict or get you fired. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. You're right on target there, Showcast. It's like you're being convicted in the court of public opinion based on a headline or an accusation. And again, it doesn't have to be true. This is why so many comedians are coming under fire too now. Comedians have to be very, very careful what they say. They have to be very, very careful what they joke about, because jokes can lead to things too. And it's very, very, it's just a very, very bizarre. It's a very, very bizarre turn that society has taken. I think it actually makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, and here's kind of the thing too. If we get Zack Snyder's Justice League, well, not it. When we get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, and if they don't cast Ezra because of false allegations, as much as I love the Snyderverse, those movies will feel like Fantastic Beasts 3 all over again. It will. Like, I mean, make no mistake, I'd still rather get the Snyderverse with Ezra recasted than no Snyderverse at all. I don't want to, but at the same time, if Ezra's recast, I want it to be for stuff Ezra actually did.
All right, I'm going to ask you the hard question right now, BatDan. The very, very hard question. So we know that Warner Brothers is allegedly, according to a lot of these articles, he's allegedly not going to be used moving forward after this Flash movie comes out. This is it for Ezra, and unless something changes. So from what we know right now, this is the swan song of Ezra Miller as the Flash in this movie, right? Let's say that the Snyderverse is going to get restored. We know based off of who we know that the Snyderverse is going to get restored. But let's just, for the sake of this argument, let's just assume that, yes, the Snyderverse is 100% going to be restored soon. But Warner Brothers decides, because of the fan groundswell, to recast Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin. Are you still going to be in support of the Snyderverse?
No, that's the one thing that would, recasting Ezra, sure. With Grant Gustin, no. I do not need CW stench in that Snyderverse. That's a corrupted Snyderverse at that point.
See, so now we know where the line. Now we know what the red line in the sand is for BatDan. We know now that if Grant Gustin gets cast as the Flash to replace Ezra Miller for Justice League 2 and 3, Dan is out. Okay, there we go. We know now. Dan is done with the Snyderverse. So all you detractors waiting to pick up BatDan and bring him to your side, you got to keep campaigning for Grant Gustin to replace Ezra Miller as the Flash, because if that happens, BatDan is out of there. So there you go. That's what it is. And Snyder, Skywalker, the Jedi, was reading my mind. Grant Gustin is the Flash. Okay. And then, of course, we've said fact versus fiction versus perception. Yeah, absolutely. Perception, Super Bro Corey, is more important than reality. And that's the truth. It's not about what's real or what's true. It's about what you can make people perceive to be the truth. That's the reality. Skywalker the Jedi says, on CW, in response to his Grant Gustin is the Flash. Yes. Yes. See, and that's how we all need to start talking, like I'm gonna Batdan, I am gonna come over there and punch you in the face. Probably. like what?
That's gonna be such a recurring thing in the fandom now.
It is now because of what happened to me yesterday. That's exactly what it's going to be from now on. Just say these random, outlandish things that you have no intention of doing, and just add probably to at the end. Probably. Well, you know, um, you know. Oh my God. Yeah, so me and Matt Jarbo, we're gonna have a nice long talk and we're gonna become great friends. Probably. I
Yeah, I mean, I
mean,
saw how that went last time.
oh my God. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, I just it's all it's all just a bunch of subjective nonsense, basically. I don't Amber Amber won't work in Hollywood again. If you watched the testimony of Hamada and after Hollywood types at the and other Hollywood types at the trial. Yeah. Kupi Malik says, don't anybody consider false accusations a big deal anymore. I mean, it used to back in the day. Yeah, well, no. Nowadays, false accusations are worse than they ever were because false accusations are literally ruining people's lives and their careers. It really is because not everybody is using false accusations or using false threats like the guy that did me yesterday, where he basically made his threat and then said probably at the end. You gotta think about it that way, but really that's what it is. All these people are making accusations and they're saying probably, but they're just forgetting to say probably out loud. They're saying probably in their head, but they're not saying probably out loud. And it's sticking, and thus people are buying into it.
Yeah, and it's sad. And here's actually a point by how far I go with believing someone's innocent or proven guilty. I have never said anything about Amber Heard should be fired because me personally, I did not watch the trial. Because I personally did not watch the trial, I am not ever going to say that I think Amber Heard should be fired because I don't think it's right for me to go off something I hear. I'm not saying she shouldn't be, but I'm not going to say if I'm going to say if I'm going to damn someone, basically, I want to be as informed as possible. And with Amber Heard, I'm just not. I just don't think I'm informed enough. So I I mean, I'll talk about what I think they should do if they do decide to remove her, but I'm not going to say she should be removed because I'm not going to give in to mom mentality. Even if it's right, even if you saw the trial and you think it's right, fine. Probably is. I just didn't. So
You are What I love is that you're thinking about everything in a logical and thoughtful way. You're not just jumping to conclusions like a lot of people are. And this is the issue that we're getting now. We're getting so many people jumping to conclusions again based off of stupid things like accusations and bogus headlines. That's what we're getting now. Bogus headlines and accusations are ruining people's lives, and it's ridiculous. Um, let's see here. The Savage Bat says, I don't answer to the law. Well, you're the Batman. Why would you? I mean, Batman does what he wants. Um, let's see. We've got the Savage Bat says, Happy Treason Day. I think that's tomorrow for you, or maybe it's today, Savage Bat. I don't know. Savage Bat lives in the future, so I don't know. I I don't really know exactly. But everybody loves the Savage Bat because he's the Batman. And let's see. Marcus Cruz says Ezra Miller has a chance to redeem his name more than Amber Heard. I think I can agree with that a little bit because again, with Ezra Miller, all of the accusations are essentially just bottomless hearsay stories with no real meat to them. They're just essentially, you know, she says this about Ezra. He says this about Ezra. This person writes an article about Ezra. But there's really nothing to back it. There's nothing of any substance, and there's nothing really criminal. So I can kind of agree with that. I mean, I don't think that Ezra really has anything that they need to do to really change, which is why now at this point it's like, well, Ezra's refusing help. Yeah, but what do you mean? I mean, what is Ezra doing that would require Ezra to get help? Because based on what we're seeing, it's a bunch of dog piling, uh, baseless accusations. I mean, we've literally got this woman complaining because Ezra Miller did what amounts to through a temper tantrum when she didn't want him because she didn't want him to smoke in her house. I don't get it. I don't. Why is that important? What does that have to do with Ezra's career? What does that have to do with us as the viewing audience or the general public? Why do we care? I just don't. And again, it's like you have a little baby who is in the house throwing a temper tantrum because you didn't buy him the moose on roller skates that he wanted that he saw at the Toys R Us. Just because you didn't buy the kid the toy on roller skates, the moose on roller skates, he threw the temper tantrum. Okay, does that mean that the kid deserves to be in trouble for the rest of his life because he threw a temper tantrum in a toy store when he was 5 years old? Because that's essentially the kind of stuff that you're getting at now. It's like anything that anybody has ever said or did, people just want to automatically throw the book and want to cancel people and want to end their careers and end their lives based on stupid things.
I mean, to be honest, if we end Ezra's career, then a lot of other people need to be fired. Anthony Starr should have been fired if we're going to go on that. I mean, now I don't think
You or I, that Dan wouldn't stand a chance with any kind of allegations like this in the world that we're living in.
yeah, we wouldn't. I mean, I'm not a famous celebrity with money. If I had an allegation against me, I couldn't defend myself.
We'd be ruined.
Yeah,
We'd be
I would.
ruined. We're honest people. We make an honest living, but we're not rich people. We'd be ruined. Our lives would be over.
Yeah,
It's that simple. Like you again, that's what's so dangerous about the kinds of stuff that we're seeing now. We've got Matthew McConaughey in the chat saying, all right, all right, all right, all right. Kupi Malik, false narrative for false empowerment. Amen. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible.
and I'll be honest. In April,
Krypton's go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I said in April, I'll be honest. My thought was Ezra should get help because I mean that's based on what we were hearing. We didn't because all we heard at the time was the bar fight and the chair thing without context. And at that time, I was thinking that Ezra needed to get help. And well, maybe Ezra does. I'll put it like this: any normal person going through what Ezra's going through right now is going to need mental help because your name being dragged to the mud. And I guess back in April, before I realized as much of this stuff was false, I was sympathetic towards Ezra because I myself see a therapist once a month. So I know the importance of mental health. So I think that's another reason why I was very empathetic towards Ezra in the beginning, is just my own personal experience. I'm not going to go into details about why I see a therapist, but I I've had enough that, like, no, mental health is no joke. So if that's what Ezra needs, then there's no shame in it. And even if Ezra's innocent of all that, their name's being dragged through the mud. Anyone's going to need to see a therapist after that.
And it's really sad, that these kinds of things are so prominent now. And, you know, um, people love this new form of power that exists. Well, we'll just cancel this person. We'll just, we'll get rid of this person. We'll smear this person because we don't like this person, because we don't agree with this person's opinions, because we don't agree with the way this person conducts themselves, because we don't agree with the way that this person decides to that chooses makes the choice to be bald. We're gonna condemn this person. It is what it is, but that's the reality, Dad, that we're living in. Anybody can be offended by anything you say and do at any time, for any reason, and without any type of provocation. You don't have to do anything to anyone. You don't have to say anything to them. They don't like you, they can levy an allegation against you and ruin your life. That's just what it is now, and that's what makes it so difficult to sink into. Like when I look at Ezra, and yeah, we know Ezra's not perfect. We know Ezra's not an angel. Ezra's had his issues. We all have issues. Nobody's perfect. I'm not sitting on a glass couch. I'm not perfect. It's again, it's mistakes are part of humanity, are part of growing as a person. And when you can accept that you are flawed and you make mistakes, and mistakes are going to happen, and that's a part of your life, that's a part of who you are, that's part of what makes you what you are. We were not made to walk this earth as perfect beings. We were made as flawed creatures so that we could learn and gain something from this life that we are living in. If we were perfect beings, there'd be no reason for us to be here. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like again, like, so all this condemnation and all these people throwing stones, who live in glass houses or whatever, or sit on glass couches, like Matt Jarbo accused me of sitting on a glass couch. Listen, it is what it is. You have all of these, and this is the thing. I don't judge anybody. I look at everybody, and I like you, Dan. I like to see the whole story. I like to see all of it. Context is very important. It's very important. If you don't have context, then you don't have any legitimacy to be saying anything that you're saying, because without context, you can make anything fit whatever narrative or agenda you're trying to promote. That's just the truth. It's
Well,
sad.
actually, when I was on your show in like a bigger panel one time, I made a point about representation. Remember when I said, like, do not interrupt me midway because the context was very important? Well, basically,
Hmm.
for those who didn't see this last show, what I said is, I don't want to see a black character on a TV show. I want to see a character who is black. Basically, I want to see a character who has multiple personalities. Being black is just one thing about them, as opposed to a character whose being black is their main personality. When I said the whole thing, people love that story. But could you imagine people taking that first half of that first sentence and saying, Dan doesn't want to see black people on TV shows?
Yeah, that's exactly what they would do, and you would be canceled for it, guaranteed. And Krypton's core sums it all up very eloquently here. Ezra farted. He abused me. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. The dude is standing in the house, wanting to smoke. She's complaining, saying, "You cannot smoke in my house." Ezra is saying, that the tobacco leaves are sacred, and he wants to smoke in the house, you know, okay, it's not a physical altercation. It's just a disagreement. Maybe Ezra is being disrespectful. You can deduce that Ezra is being disrespectful for not wanting to leave your house while he's smoking, but you can't say that they're being, that they're being violent, or they're doing anything that is uh, where they deserve to get arrested or get thrown in jail simply because you don't want them to smoke in your house. Yeah. So again, your comment, Krypton, is very apropos here because yeah, she could have just as easily said in that article, Ezra farted, and I felt threatened. I felt threatened by the stench of Ezra Miller's fart.
That's
I mean,
she is
she could just as easily have said that, and I guarantee you, because of the way things are today, that would have made Rolling Stone or Variety or one of these other big trade would have picked it up because that's where we're at right now. The stench of Ezra Miller's fart was so offensive that I had to ask Ezra to leave my house. Ezra refused to leave after this disrespectful fart, and I had to call the police.
yeah, that's exactly. And I think it's just also too. It's about how much you like someone. Like what, like put it like this. If let's say this came out about Jason Momoa, I honestly think it would have been dropped like that because people love Jason because Jason Momoa is just a lot more popular right now. Because I do think it's about how popular an actor is right now. I think a lot of people just didn't like Ezra already, and they're just using this as an excuse. Like the Grant Gustin stands are just using this as an excuse to get Grant Gustin on Flash, or some people who just didn't. Some people just didn't like Ezra as Flash, and they're using, which really disturbs me because who cares if you don't like Ezra as Flash or not? This is a person's livelihood you're talking about here. Like, like someone like made a point like on Skywalker stream that someone's like, oh well, they're saying that because they're a Marvel stan. I'm like, who cares? That doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest right now. Getting Ezra's name cleared of false allegations is more important to me than getting the Snyderverse because one thing is movies, the other thing is a person's livelihood. What do you think is more important?
Oh God, it's just pathetic, Dan, that we're in this situation right now, and people don't realize just how scary and how Orwellian this makes the future look. Very, very bleak when you see things like this. Humanity is going to eat itself if this keeps going on. Honestly, because eventually it's all just going to be like this. This person is guilty of this person is guilty of that, this person, there's no evidence, it's just all accusations. And again, as long as the perception is vast enough for the right target audience to believe it and to buy into it, that's all that's needed. uh yeah, Super Bro Corey, and that's how social media works. Exactly. Chad Snyderverse says, man, betas love the word diva. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I guess we'll switch gears because I feel bad, Dan, because we've spent nearly the entire show so far talking about Ezra Miller, and I didn't really want to, but I knew that as I know that Ezra Miller is a topic that is near and dear to your heart, so I felt like it was appropriate to at least talk a little bit about it. And then, of course, that Geekosity article came out, so I felt like it was necessary to maybe discuss it with you, but I kind of want to transition on to something else now because talking about all this Ezra Miller stuff is kind of depressing me a little bit. Um, so there's been a lot of nonsense going on over the last few days, and
Oh
to
yeah.
say the least, we've been I feel like we've been fighting we've been fighting a civil war of sorts with people that are the people that stand with Sil and Mikey, Sil Abdul Inc., Geekosity, people like that, and then people that subscribe to the book of Matt Jarbo. And you have the two sides, and both sides believe that they are right, and it's basically created a massive divide in the Restore the Snyderverse fandom. And so I wanted to get your take on what you think the problem is between the two camps, as objectively as you can be, considering that you and I are both card carrying members of Sil Abdul Inc. It's not very objective, but nonetheless, I still want to get your feedback on what transpired over these last couple of days and what you think could have been done differently from an objective perspective, or what you would like to see happen in the future, if anything, to get these two camps to find common ground and to have some sort of peaceful resolution.
Well, I'll put it like this. So you talk about objectivity. There's a reason why I am on Sill's side as opposed to Matt Jarvis. I mean, when I chose my sides. Essentially, I kind of chose it in from an objective perspective. Here's the way I look at it. Sill's content like is just about Sill. Like Sill just tells us what Sill and Mikey just tell us what they hear. That's it. But what I noticed is that Matt Jarbo constantly he I mean, I can't say too much because I don't follow him anymore, but when I did, he was so obsessed with disproving the Snyderverse. He was so obsessed with negativity. And it's like, why? Why do you care if some of us are being hopeful for movies? You're not interested in the Snyderverse. Well, I'll tell you this about Matt Jarbo, is that I used to love Matt Jarbo's content very much. And quite frankly, he had a lot of good content outside of the Snyderverse. Like, that was one thing I loved about him, is that he would talk about stuff like Star Wars and Marvel and stuff, and I loved it. And it's like, I'll put it like this: my people will do their best content when they focus on themselves, not other people. If you don't want to follow scoopers like Mikey Sutton, here's the thing: that's absolutely fine. Just don't talk about them. Just say, hey, look, I want the Snyderverse, but I'm not interested in scoopers. Next topic, please. That's all you have to say. I think if we were to find a resolution, all you need to do is learn to agree to disagree, but not to disrespect. Don't come in and say, hey, this is bullshit, you're lying. You don't know. I mean, not to go back to Ezra too much, but we talk about innocent until proven guilty. What proof do you have that Geekosity's lying? Because quite frankly, a lot of stuff has been proven. Sill's stuff has been proven true. I mean, Sill and Mikey's stuff has been proven true. I mean, we got DC Studios. We got the clown table gone. I mean, like, what more do you need? I mean, when we get Man of Steel 2 before Justice League 2 and 3, if we're going to find common ground, just learn that it's okay to disagree. Just say, hey, I'm not interested, do great work. I'm not interested in scoops. That's all you have to say.
And Al Necrod says, "Wait, I'll be back probably." I love that probably. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna create some ZodWriter show T-shirts that say the ZodWriter show on the front and that say probably on the back. I'm thinking about maybe going in that direction. I just think that that's hilarious, and I really wanted yesterday to take that comment and pin that comment, that threatening comment. I wanted to pin it, but for some reason, YouTube wasn't letting me pin the comment. It was a legitimate threat, and I wanted it pinned for all to see for all eternity on that video yesterday because I thought it was brilliant. It's a perfect example of the kind of stuff that we've been dealing with in this fandom for the longest time. The threats, the accusations, the personal attacks, all that stuff. It's always the same types of people. It's always the same kinds of things. And none of them ever ever mean any of it. But the funny part of it is that was the first time I'd ever seen somebody walk something back like that right after they said it with that probably. That was amazing. Uh, CT Mason says, "What's up, everybody? What's going on, CT? Good to see you." Um, Koopy Malik says, "If that became a new norm, law of the land, I want no part of it." Yeah, me either. I'm with you, but it'll never become the law of the land, but it's sort of reshaped the way we look at the court of public opinion. It's sort of, that's the difference. It's like people can't be bothered to actually read an article. They can't be bothered. They don't have time. So they read the headline and they say, "Oh, you know, I oh, oh, Ezra did this. Okay, cool. Ezra's a weirdo. Back to Pornhub." That's that's essentially what we're the kinds of people we're dealing with here. Okay, there's your court of public opinion. It's ridiculous. Oh my god. And CT Mason says hashtag restore BatDan's microphone. Yeah, I actually want to get BatDan the headset. I want to get BatDan the headset that I have, and I want to send it to him so that he can see what it's like to have a headset where people will be able to hear his voice booming through the headset. That's what he needs. That'll be awesome. Better still, get the setup that Savage Bat has. Savage Bat's setup is second to none when it comes to his voice coming through. My goodness. Super Bro Corey says, "Nice Savage Bat. I do love the beverage London Fog. Not sure if you drink that over there, but some Earl Grey with milk and all." BatDan, what is your favorite alcoholic drink of choice?
Um, so this is gonna be for a very stupid reason, but I love Budweiser because of that Super Bowl commercial of 2015 with the dog, where like the dog got lost and wolves were going to eat that dog, and the horses came to save the dog. I just I have a weakness for animals, so now I associate Budweiser with that cute little dog. Like,
Oh, okay.
so very
Well, I
stupid
like.
reason.
You can tell I'm an old guy because I like Miller High Life. Miller High Life's my favorite, man. I'm down with the High Life. It's the champagne of beers.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't a one-on-one interview, drink, I'd have a beer right now. But alcohol makes me use the bathroom like every 5 minutes, so don't want to deal with that on a one-on-one.
Yeah, that's not good on a one-on-one stream. I'm with you. I've been drinking this Mountain Dew energy drink throughout the course of the night. It's good because I like these kinds of energy drinks. They keep my weight down and they keep me moving. They must have speed or crack or something in them. I don't know, but hey, they're awesome. Uh, Chad Snyderverse says, "I wonder how Ray feels about Ezra right now. They were both friends, if I remember correctly." Yeah, Ray Fisher hasn't said anything about Ezra Miller that I know of.
Oh, he hasn't, and in my opinion, he shouldn't because he doesn't know what's going on with Ezra Miller right now, and I I mean anything Ray said might not even help Ezra. If anything, Ray could unintentionally hurt Ezra without even I mean, there's a reason why Ezra hasn't spoken out right now because the whole anything you say can and will be used against you. That can apply to people's friends too. And if
Yeah.
Ray's not informed, just well, that's like
Yeah,
another.
I know if it was my friend, I would feel the same way, and I wouldn't say anything either, because I wouldn't feel like it was my place to speak. So
I
yeah,
mean, well, here's another way to put it. None of Ray Fisher's friends like Ezra, Ben Affleck, or they didn't speak out for Ray Fisher with WB, not publicly, anyways. So it goes both ways. But that's like another beta thing that betas do is that some of these betas go after Ray Fisher for the stupidest reasons. So,
yeah, yeah. And you know what I find funny? A lot of these people in Matt Jarbo and people in Matt Jarbo's camp, they all claim to have been supporting Ray Fisher, right? Accountability over entertainment, but yet Ray Fisher would put out What are you drinking, BatDan? Excuse me. Oh, you're drinking a Sprite. Okay, for a second, I'm like, wait a minute, you got one of these too? Because but no, but Ray Fisher put out a recent a tweet about Walter Hamada, comparing Walter Hamada's statement to the statement that was put out with the boys, right? And basically, mocking Ray Fisher is essentially mocking Walter Hamada, and these guys over here that claim to be all about accountability over entertainment, they didn't have nothing to say about that. They're still talking all this mess, blaming, talking about the restore the Snyderverse fandom, and that we're the ones, that are at fault. And yet it's, we're going by stuff that Ray Fisher is saying when we talk about Walter Hamada. And what are they saying? Well, Walter Hamada's still there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Derek was still there a month ago.
Yeah. Walter, he was still there a month ago. Yeah. Mikey already said it won't be Grant Gustin. Yeah, no. Yeah, we know it's not going to be Grant Gustin, but there is this groundswell of CW fans that would love nothing more than for Grant Gustin to start appearing in the films.
And it bothers me because it's like, you have your thing on CW. Why do you need to invade our thing? Like, it's not a perfect comparison because a CW TV show is a downgrade from a movie, but I like Superman and Lois. If Tyler Hoechlin got into some trouble, I wouldn't immediately say, cast Henry Cavill in the series. I'd be like, no, give another actor a chance. I want to see Henry Cavill in the Snyderverse. That's Henry Cavill's area. The Snyderverse, the Black Adam universe, those two things, that's where I want to see Henry Cavill. I don't need to see Henry Cavill in CW. Let him another actor.
Speaking of Black Adam, our good friend and fellow member, for fellow associate in the Sil Abdul Inc. group, Sammy the Snyder Queen, put out a beautiful recut of the Black Adam trailer for the movie. For those of us who were dissatisfied with the trailer that was released, Sammy really, she put out a beautiful rendition and made the trailer cool. I got to admit, she did a good job on the trailer. So shout out to Snyder Queen. That's all I wanted to say about that.
I love that that redone. That was just so much better. It had a much better tone for Black Adam too.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, the biggest draw I have to Black Adam right now is Mikey's son saying that we're gonna see him fight Henry Cavill's Superman. That's the biggest reason I'm excited for Black Adam right now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's all these articles that are coming out now, and people saying that it's just going to be that it's either going to be a headless Superman or a shadow Superman, and if they do that, I don't even want to see the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have Superman. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Although it would be kind of funny if they did the headless cameo at first, and then all of a sudden, gotcha, here's Henry Cavill with his head. That I think they should do. Make it, prank the audience a little bit.
So. Daniel 8417. What's up, man? Says, hey Zod, I seen on Facebook that the Batman flopped in China. It's not surprising. The movie sucks.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was on Trey's show, and I was his guest panelist for that Batman review, and I was much harder in the film than Trey was. Yet for some reason, Trey got more attacked than I didn't get attacked at all. I'm like, why aren't you guys going after me more than Trey? I was the one who.
They don't. I'll tell you why they don't go after you, BatDan, because you're not a YouTuber.
Yeah.
If you were on YouTube making content like we are all the time, they'd be going after you. I felt so bad for Trey and all of the negative stuff that, the negative vibes he was getting as a result of his review of the Batman. And I really, and his review of the Batman wasn't even that bad. That's the whole thing. It's like when you look at what was being said, he was actually very fair and balanced with that movie. I really didn't like it at all. So I'm not one of those people that you know um, you know is going to be able to be very positive. But the amount of hate that I got on Twitter when I was being objective in my opinion, and I said that in my opinion, Morbius was a better movie than the Batman. I got so much hate. I had people coming at me on my videos. I had people coming at me on that tweet. That tweet was took on a life of its own. I mean, I really, it was insane. Um,
Yeah, they say
wow.
that the Snyder fandom's so toxic, yet like you're why is it that when people are rude to us, it's okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. We've got the great and beautiful Rhea in the chat. What's up, Rhea? Great to see you. She says, "What's up, Zod, BatDan, sending well wishes, good vibes." That's what Rhea is all about. Rhea is all about good vibes, and we love good vibes here on Late Night Q&A. This is it's all about good vibes, and Rhea, everybody's shouting out Ray in the chat. What's your view about good vibes, Dan?
Well, yeah, I mean, Rhea, for example, gives very good vibes. It's one of the main reasons I watch her gaming streams. It just I love I really love the positive vibes that she has, and I just when she comes in the chat, and I love good vibes because I think we really need that in this world right now, this very dark, depressing world.
Exactly. Rhea's uh, video gaming streams are legendary. They are awesome. And I just love seeing Rhea branch out playing all types of different games, from role playing games to fighting games, with Pokemon and all the types of different things that Rhea does on her gaming stuff. It's amazing. And I love that content. And it's just feel good content. It really is. It's feel good stuff on a level that we always need. So with that, I think I want more of it, and I always look forward to it. There's another great YouTuber out there that I've got to give another great gaming YouTuber that I've got to give a shout out to, and that is Slonko Bomb. If you haven't checked out Slonko Bomb, she plays retro games. Her favorite console is the Super Nintendo, and she plays retro games from that system. And she just recently finished up, I believe it was Super Mario World 2, and now she's going to play coming up, she's going to play Banjo Kazooie. But again, I mean, Slanko Bomb is another amazing gaming streamer that I highly recommend. If you just want to check out somebody who just likes to make chill gaming streams and just wants to, you talk about good vibes, very very similar, and it's no surprise that her and Rhea are really good friends, because they're totally on the same wavelength when it comes to uh, good vibes and high quality gaming streaming content. So you definitely want to check them out. Rhea says, "What's up, Jesse, Koopy, Super Bro, Krypton, Savage Bat, Necron, Bat Channel, Chad, everybody, good vibes." Yes, once again, Rhea, coming in, giving everybody that dose of positivity that we all need, especially after the negative last couple of days that we've had on various channels and things like that. I want to give a special shout out to the good and great Tim's Talk, who popped up on my Mr. Kylo Ren himself, who popped up yesterday on my Let's Talk Part Two stream, and it was great. He gave us a lot of background and discussion about the stuff that he's into, cosplay and all this great, amazing stuff. And he talked about his feelings about Star Wars and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the recent Disney Plus show, and all these different things. It was just great and a wonderful experience talking with Tim. So I'm looking forward to having more conversations with Tim and maybe, maybe meeting up with him at a convention or something in the near future because he's a pretty great dude. And Marcus Cruz says, Zod, recast Amber Heard. Zach is on Depp's side. He supports the dude. Well, I don't know. As far as Mira recasting Mira, Dan, who would you recast? Who would you recast Mira with in the Snyderverse if they really are not going to move forward with Amber Heard?
Um, that's a good question. I haven't really thought too much about who I want to recast Mira. Just someone who's a similar height to Amber Heard. Because I'll be honest, I've always hated recasting. I hated it every time the MCU did it because it's like the ultimate continuity error. Someone just morphs into another person. But I am gonna have so many pitchforks coming my way when I see this. Unless they can make Amelia Clark look like a 5'7" woman, not her, because in real life she's 5'2", and that height difference would be too jarring. Like, I would have been fine with Amelia Clark if she was Mira from the get-go, but not someone who's supposed to be playing the same Mira that Amber Heard's playing. There was someone made a joke about Johnny Depp's lawyer, and I'm like, if she can act, I'd say sure. I could see her pulling it off.
My thing about the height is it doesn't bother me too much because it's a movie. They can make any actor any height they want the actor to be. It's not that, it's not that serious.
I mean, if they can do
Um,
that, yeah. I mean, I guess
yeah, I
why would
mean,
Johnny
and that's why I say Amelia Clark, they would just make her look a little bit taller so that she matches up with the height of the character from previous. It wouldn't be. I don't think that would be hard because if it was difficult for height, what about Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits? I mean, they weren't all that short. I mean, and Tom Cruise is a short individual in real life. They always have to do camera tricks to make Tom Cruise look taller than he is.
I just don't know if they would bother doing that. That's more of my concern. I know they can do that. I just don't know if the studio would bother doing that. It's more of my.
Well, that would
But
be
if they
on
can do
the
that, yeah.
that would fall at the heels of the filmmaker, essentially. If the filmmaker wanted to address that, they could with their camera. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I see where you're going. Uh, agreed. The Cavill cameo is the make or break for me when it comes to Black Adam. Yeah. Uh, if Henry Cavill, if Superman is in this movie and it's a shadow or he's headless like he was in Shazam, I'm out.
Or like the Peacemaker cameo.
Because honestly, if it wasn't for Snyder Queen's recut trailer of Black Adam, I I haven't been happy with what I've been seeing with Black Adam so far. So from the official trailer that was released, but I definitely am going to see the film, and again, if they tease us with Superman and it's not Henry Cavill, it makes no sense for it not to be Henry Cavill, though, considering that Henry Cavill and The Rock share the same agent. So it makes no sense for Superman to be a stunt double or a shadow or a headless silhouette. No, it doesn't make any sense. It's got to be Henry Cavill um, in the black suit. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it and you're gonna tie it in for continuity's sake, and we know that the Snyderverse is being restored, so that means Zack Snyder's Justice League is canon, so that means that that everything is going to have to tie together. And if they're going to put Black Adam in that universe for context, we need the right version of Superman. I'm just saying.
100%. Even if it's more Snyderverse inspired than full on Snyderverse, like, because I think from my understanding from what Sill's saying is that it's going to still kind of start off as pocket universes until the crisis level event merges everything together. But that doesn't mean we can't still have that Snyderverse influence. You don't need that. Just don't give us Justice League influence. That's all I ask. No Justice League influence. We don't need that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna put a if they're gonna if they're gonna ever, because no director wants to ever reference that movie again.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the problem is, and I think it would have been best for everything to be connected to the Snyderverse from the beginning. But the problem is, a lot of these directors already went off Justice League, such as Aquaman. People play all sorts of mental gymnastics, but truth is, they made changes to Justice League to make it fit more with Aquaman, such as changing Mira's dialogue about her parents. So,
Yeah, yeah.
the movie.
Marcus Cruz wants to know: are you excited for Comic Con? Disney Plus Day at D23. Marvel's going to destroy the DCEU with the announcements, especially if they're going to announce Secret Wars trilogy. Well, I don't at this point. I know I don't compare what Disney is doing with what DC is doing, because they're going through a restructuring right now. So we don't even know who the head of DC is going to be. So we don't know what the announcements are going to be yet either. That's the thing. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. Whereas Disney is kind of, in full swing with what they're doing. So I kind of would expect Disney to be more on top of things right now than Zaslav, because they just had a merger, and they're just trying to get things figured out. So I think we've got a little ways to go yet before we start getting major announcements. But considering what the way that David Zaslav is moving and the way that he's getting things done over there, I don't suspect we're going to have to wait too long, and I do believe we're going to get a fandom this year. I do think so.
Oh yeah, definitely. It may not be called fandom. I know that was a rumor. I think Still said, or that might be, but like we'll have an equivalent version of it, which again, which
Maybe
fits.
maybe they'll maybe they'll call it Worlds of DC.
I don't know if Zaslav wants that connected universe. Maybe that's not a good advertising name for it, but they don't need to remove Amber Heard, the guy who plays Mira's father. I know he kind of showed a little support for Amber Heard, but honestly, we don't need to do that guilt by association thing. They can keep Amber Heard, Mira's father, because again, he was already in the first Aquaman. So
He was in the Snyder cut too. You remember?
Amber
Wasn't he in
Heard.
the one? No, 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 not Amber Heard's dad. Never mind. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of somebody else. But yeah, no. It so I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Have you have you thought about in your mind who you expect to see, or who you would like to see take over as head of DC Films?
Honestly, I'm still leaning towards. I still want Deborah Snyder. I think she would. That's my pick.
That's mine as well. I think, and I also think that if Deborah Snyder gets chosen as the DC head, that will break the internet in half. All of those people that are all those naysayers and all the people, you really want a smoking gun, you make Deborah Snyder head of DC.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean
she's. I think she does great work
that,
with producing. And that's one thing I love about Deborah Snyder is that so many like of these wives of director would be associated as like, just like Zack Snyder's wife, but to us, she's not. I mean, she is Zack Snyder's wife, but like she's more than that. She's honestly her own badass person and does a lot of great work on the production side. So yeah, I would love.
oh yeah,
She's
yeah,
also
she's
on
a
Amber
she's
Heard.
a lot. Yeah, she's not just Zack Snyder's wife by any means. I mean, her credentials are immaculate for this job. If she were to take over as head of DC Films, it would be well deserved, and she would do the job tremendously. I mean, you talk about somebody who would be fair and would be balanced. This is a woman who stayed on as per. This is why she should get the job, in my mind, Batdan. For this alone, she stayed on as producer during the Justice League debacle. She had to make appearances with the cast and crew promoting that movie, all while the studio at the time was literally screwing over her husband. That's a woman who's dedicated to the job. That's a woman who cares about the business. That's the woman who is trying, is gonna do her best even in a bad situation, no matter what. For that trauma alone, and for having to deal with that alone, that makes her automatically number one for the job, because the situation doesn't get any worse than that situation where you have to go to work, literally working counter to the desires of your own husband, who was the director and who made the movie. I couldn't just imagine what she was going through agonizingly from day to day as producer of that film.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bet it. But that's, as you said, that's one thing I like. That's great about her, is that she was professional. I mean, she had every reason in the world to say, "F you guys, I'm out," but
Uh-huh.
she didn't. And that's what being professional is. And yeah, that's why, because she is her. She has done a lot of great things just on her own, and I really think she would do a lot of great work as head of DC. She really would.
Yeah, she'll do it, and it'll be a wonderful universe with Deborah Snyder in charge. Marcus Cruz says, Zod, imagine in Comic Con, Kevin Feige comes out with the cast of the Fantastic Four, and it is, you know who, and people will freak out. Well, Marcus, I really am very excited for you to finally get the Fantastic Four movie that you've been hoping for all this time. Because for as long as I've known you, and as long as you've been coming here commenting and in other people's videos and stuff, you've been talking about Fantastic Four. So I hope that you get the movie that you want. I hope it doesn't disappoint you. I hope that Krasinski is amazing as Reed Richards. I hope it's a phenomenal job. I hope you get your Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. I mean, honestly, uh, that's the kind of movie that, I think you'll be raving about it. You may even start jumping on panels once you finally get your movie. I hope so. Um, Super Bro Corey says, this is an amazing stream. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much, Super Bro Corey. I love it, man. I feel the love. I love the endorsements. Thank you so much. This is great. And again, I couldn't be happier. I'm over here hanging out with Batdan and all you guys tonight. What more could I ask for? I mean, it's awesome. And 4th of July weekend, doing a stream that we didn't think was ever going to happen, and it's finally here. And yes, that's exactly what it is. I guess with DC, I have to be honest. I'm not really looking forward to anything that they have coming out as of right now that we know of. I was looking forward to Black Adam, but then I saw that trailer and I was like, no, it's just going to be more of the same fake MCU type material that we've gotten from previous films. It looks like a Taika Waititi type thing. Uh, and so I'm really not that hyped about Black Adam anymore, even though, like I said, Sammy Snyder Queen's recut of the trailer, re-edit, was much better. I hope the movie is good. And so I guess if there's a one DC movie that I actually want to see more than any of the others, I guess it would be Black Adam. What about you?
Um. Okay, so this is gonna be a really. I mean, I'm excited for Black Adam, but I feel like that's honestly a given. I think it was a bad trailer, but I'm still gonna give the movie a chance. In some ways, I'm almost excited about seeing the Flash movie because I'm gonna be honest. I never really cared what the Flash movie was doing with the Snyderverse because it was never canon to the Snyderverse. It was never going to affect the Snyderverse to begin with. If anything, I always thought we should be happy with what the Flash was doing because to WB Justice League is canon. So the events they're rewriting, getting rid of, was Justice League, not the Snyder Cut. So that's always how I looked at it. And I liked Ezra Miller's Flash, and if this is going to be their swan song, then I'm kind of excited to just see Ezra Miller's Flash one last time. As long as we
I
get the Snyderverse on the side, I don't care what the Flash movie does in terms of rewriting the timeline.
I'll tell you, there's been a lot of leaks concerning this Flash movie, and I can honestly say that some of the stuff in the leaks that I've seen sounds pretty cool. It does look like it's going to be a pretty interesting movie, and it does look like Zod is going to be very brutal in the movie. We're going to get Fiora, so you are going to have Zack Snyder elements in this movie. So I mean, I think it'll be interesting, and I definitely want to see it, regardless of the whole Ezra Miller controversy as well. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And
but I think if the Rock is being honest and not just teasing us with his tweets, I think Henry Cavill is going to have a cameo in that film, the Black Adam movie.
oh yeah, most definitely. And the one thing is the reason why I'm not too concerned about that film is because I'm pretty sure Mikey Sutton even said that don't let the trailer fool you. It is more serious than the trailer is making it appear. Because the trailer still had a lot of good moments. It just had stupid stuff kind of in the middle. But there were a lot of great stuff about about the trailer we got too. Lots of great lines like the whole like heroes don't kill, well I do.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, so yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna see it. I'm not, to me again. A lot of this Ezra Miller stuff, as we've talked about today, is baseless in a lot of ways and is irrelevant to me personally. I don't care about any of it. I mean, unless Ezra kills, hurts, or does something to somebody that's worthy of jail time, I really don't care. It's not important because everybody does their thing. And I've said that over and over again. Celebrities are known to be a little bit, quirky, eccentric. They do a lot of weird and ridiculous things that normal people don't do. So so I just I'm not, at this point, I'm tired of it, and I don't really care. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Flash movie just to see what it's gonna be like. Because it may, because I said it before, it really is either going to be a complete train wreck, or it's going to be an unexpected masterpiece. That's what I think it's going to be, because from everything that I'm hearing, it sounds like Ezra is amazing in this movie. We've got awesome villains. We've got Michael Keaton coming back. I mean,
Affleck too.
Affleck too. I mean, come on. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about technically. So that's why I don't really. I'm like, either that, or, and for a lot of people that are still having problems with Ezra and are up and down and up and down, learn to separate the art from the artist. That's all I could tell you at this point. Warner Brothers, there's obviously, and this is your biggest clue that there's not really a whole lot to this Ezra stuff either, because Warner Brothers is still committed to releasing this movie theatrically. If they thought that this movie was that Ezra was so bad and the stench of Ezra smelled so horrible on this film, they would just either dump it on HBO Max, take the loss, and move on, or they wouldn't release it at all. So clearly, they realize as professionals that a lot of this Ezra stuff is more accusation than truth. So they're essentially just going to double down and put the movie out and see what happens.
And if the movie does do well and some of that stuff, Ezra stuff, does die down, again, that could influence WBD's decision because Phil's right. It's not show friends, it's show business. But if it ends up being a good business decision, again, and that's a big reason I'm going to support it. Is I want to support it for Ezra.
You know what I'm hoping? You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping the Flash makes $1 billion, and people love it and go back and go and see it. And like you said, best case scenario, this Ezra Miller stuff dies down. And it's again, it gets all debunked. Most of it gets debunked as accusation. Aside from the goofy stuff that's been done that can be proved, but none of that, led to anything criminal either. So at the end of the day, you have an eccentric individual. You have you have a guy who's slightly, or a non-binary individual who's slightly eccentric and into different things, and having a little bit of a domestic problem right now, different things. But at the end of the day, that's nobody's business. And as long as they're not hurting anybody, see, I really gotta get better with my pronouns. But yeah, as long as they're not hurting anyone, it should just be viewed as his personal life and not trickle into the movie per se. And I actually think this is going to turn around, and I'm optimistic to think that the movie is going to do well, and people's perspectives are going to change when they find out that there's no truth to a lot of these ridiculous accusations.
Exactly, and a lot of people at first, a lot of people wanted to boycott the film for the Snyderverse, saying, "Oh, if we support this film, we're not getting the Snyderverse." And to be honest, I think that would have been a good idea to boycott the film if this were 2021. But in 2023, we'll know by that point if we're getting the Snyderverse or not. And we know we're getting the Snyderverse, but
I feel like this film is going to be more respectful to the Snyderverse than any of the other movies that came before it since Zack has been gone. I kind of feel like even Black Adam. I think if we get a Henry Cavill cameo as Superman in the black suit, it'll be like you said, where it's kind of loosely based within the Snyderverse, but it's still, the Rock's own thing. But as long as they use Henry Cavill for Superman, I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be better than Justice League for sure. But I think the Flash really has an opportunity here to kind of bridge the gap between people that hate the Snyderverse and people that just support general, DC in general. It kind of has that opportunity because the Flash deals with the multiverse and deals with alternate timelines and all that kind of stuff. So I'm cautiously optimistic about the Flash. I'll say that.
Same here. I think again, just focusing on performance. I loved Ezra's Flash in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm excited to see Ben Affleck, and I think we're going to get a lot of cool nods to DC. I still don't think it should be Flash's first film to be doing all this stuff, but I feel like they changed that at this point. So I'm just excited to see an exciting movie.
Yeah. It's and again, I mean, when you run down all the various things that we've heard about it, the villains, and of course, Supergirl's first appearance, Ben Affleck back as Batman, Michael Keaton back as Batman. There's allegedly Gal Gadot's in the movie. Allegedly, who knows? There might even be a Henry Cavill cameo in the movie as well. Who knows? I mean, there's so much that we don't know. This has potential to be a decent film. I just hope it's great. I hope it's a movie that is uh like almost like a new classic, like Back to the Future, kind of like a movie that people will go back to over and over again as time goes on, which is not something you can say about Birds of Prey. It's not something you could say about the Suicide Squad. It's not something you could say about any of these other movies that came out once the clown table got rid of Zack Snyder.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even Aquaman. I'll be honest. Even Aquaman kind of aged badly for me because I noticed one
It
thing about Aquaman.
sucks.
I mean, well, the effects aren't even that. When I say the effects aren't that great, the water stuff is great. When they're in the water, it's great. But when they were like having their land fights, the effects are actually pretty bad. The effects feel very CW to be honest. I don't know if they just like blew all their effects on the
I'm gonna
water
be
stuff.
honest with you. I didn't like the movie that much. I thought Aquaman was quite a bit hokey. It just reminded me of like a goofy, over the top, hammy kind of movie. It really didn't have a whole lot of substance. And I feel like we were duped into seeing it because we all wanted to support Jason Momoa because of the way Jason Momoa supported the Snyder Cut. So I think that movie got the goodwill because Jason Momoa is such a huge supporter of Zack Snyder. That's why Aquaman made so much money. It's not because Aquaman was particularly a good movie. It was because people love Jason Momoa because Jason Momoa has been down with us since day one. So you have to understand, we have to understand at this point that, and I think Jason Momoa is going to get the same goodwill of for Aquaman 2, although I am not really all that excited for Aquaman 2, to be honest with you. I mean,
I don't know if Aquaman 2 is going to get all that same goodwill because I think the problem is Amber Heard's in that movie, and there's a lot of people who are going to boycott that film for Amber Heard. Me personally, again, since I did not watch the trial, I'm not going to take a personal stance against Amber Heard for that reason. But even if you don't do that, it's already filmed. I mean, I'm not going to hate on a film that's
well,
already.
I mean, again, it's like the Flash. The Flash, you have all these accusations, you have all this stuff with Ezra, and yet, you know, the general audience, if they don't pay attention to this stuff, the movie could be a hit, could end up being a hit. And the same with Aquaman. I mean, it just depends on what the reach is for all of this nonsense, because we know about all this stuff because we cover this stuff and talk about it all the time. But the people that are just like general audiences and watch the movie, like, I remember people I know being mad when they saw the Suicide Squad because the Suicide Squad was the next movie to follow up right after Zack Snyder's Justice League, and people wanted to know where those characters were. Like, I mean, you don't follow up Zack Snyder's Justice League with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and expect people to know what you're doing. Judging by how that movie flopped, we can understand that the general audience didn't really care for it all that much.
It wasn't that good of a film. I mean,
It was
a
a
lot of
bait and
people.
switch kind of a thing. Like, oh, well, wait a minute. You just showed us Dark Side in the last movie. What the hell is this? I mean, the general audience was probably like, what? So that's the equivalent of giving us Darth Vader for the first time. And then in the next movie, you don't, you don't show Darth Vader. That'd be like Star Wars coming out and everybody's hyped up about Darth Vader. And then the Empire Strikes Back comes out and you never mention Darth Vader again. What?
And then Luke Skywalker's not in it either.
No, no, he's not in it either. Han Solo's gone. The robots are gone. The only, uh, you know, Princess Leia. You could say Princess Leia was the Harley Quinn equivalent. So you could say, okay, well, uh, you know, she was in it, but she was the only one. What?
Yeah, like the Suicide Squad again. I mean, really they only had three characters from the film. I mean, yeah, they have Captain Boomerang, but they killed him off pretty quickly. There was no Will Smith, and again, this was pre-slap. There was no Will Smith. Me saying this that people were upset about.
Yeah.
Even though personally, I still hope Will Smith does have a career. I'm glad that Mikey's reporting that he does because we talk about mistakes. That applies to Will Smith too, in my opinion. But point is, people were upset there was no Will Smith in that movie at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I agree 100%. And Sox Bulletins says he's sitting here waiting on more news to drop on the X-Men movie. I know it's coming. Yeah, a lot of people are excited for X-Men. I
I
think
haven't
I
seen
think
any
it's
X-Men
oh,
I've seen
okay.
some, but not.
Okay. Well, we'll move on from that. And Marcus Cruz says, "Yes, Zod, once it comes out, we're doing a one-on-one interview." Oh, cool. So Marcus Cruz is saying it here that he's going to come on late night Q&A when the Fantastic Four movie comes out because he'll have a lot to say about that movie. I'm looking forward to that, Marcus. That'll be fun. Integrity 101 says, as long as Keaton isn't cracking jokes and completely marvelized, I'll be interested. Oh, yeah, it'll be great. The Savage Bat says, yeah, Deborah Snyder for sure. Everybody wants Deborah Snyder. That I don't think anybody can argue with Deborah Snyder for head of DC. I think it would be a match made in heaven. Marcus Cruz says, Integrity 101, the Fantastic Four needs to be marvelized. To be honest, they fit the tone, but add the family drama to it. Integrity says, I agree. Let's see here. Let's see. How can you not be excited for Keaton and Affleck in the same film? Hello. Uh, and Marcus Cruz says at Sox Bulletins, the rumor they are calling it the Uncanny X-Men. The MCU is adapting the Chris Claremont run. They are going back to basics with the X-Men. Mikey Sutton has also said this. Yes, and Krypton's Core says they're all personal and they want to cash in. Yeah, all these accusations. Affleck signed on. That was the key. Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. I mean, I'm excited to see whatever Affleck and Keaton do in this movie. Just seeing them on screen is exciting stuff. And Sox Bulletin says, I never doubt Mikey, so I'm happy. And
Yeah.
Mark, yeah, go ahead.
Well, you shouldn't doubt Mikey because again, everything. I mean, Mikey has pretty much always been right. I mean, yes, the story, certain things can change. Like again, I'm really hoping what he's hearing about Ezra changes. But I mean, Mikey has constantly, consistently been right. Like the way people go after Geekoxity just drives me insane. It's like if you don't want to follow Scoopers, here's the thing. I respect that wholeheartedly. Just don't follow them. Don't talk about them. But like when I see people quote tweet them saying liar, 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 I'm like, how do you know they're lying? Maybe they're telling the truth. You don't know that. You're just assuming that. And then when their stuff ends up being right, you try to find some way to make them wrong.
Yeah, I love how RJ the other day decided to bring up the whole Thomas Wayne, Michael Keaton playing Thomas Wayne in the Flash, and tried to uh basically blindside Sil and Mikey with it and make it seem like that's an L that they need to take. And my whole perspective on the whole Thomas Wayne thing is, have you seen the movie? Do you know for a fact that Michael Keaton doesn't play a variation of Thomas Wayne in the movie?
Yeah.
How how do you know if there's one scene in that movie, if it's just for a split second in some small pocket timeline or something where Michael Keaton actually is playing Thomas Wayne, that's a W for Sil and Mikey. That's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all are so desperate to find L's for Sil and Mikey that you're walking over mountains of W's, combing the desert looking for L's. There's nothing for you to find, and guess what? I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I hope there's a scene in the movie where Keaton is Thomas Wayne for like 3 seconds or something, just so that you all can take another L, and you can realize that Mikey Sutton was right again. And that's what I want to see happen. Because at no point did Sil and Mikey actually say that Michael Keaton was playing Thomas Wayne in this movie either. Sil and Mikey, read the speculation, heard that it in one version of the script that that was a thing, and they were very detailed, and they went into all of it. They talked about it again. Sil Abdul Inc. Scoop commentary. Sil's entire channel is a receipt. So if you wanna know more about that, you should definitely go to Sil Abdul's channel. You should check it out. You should watch some of the videos, like, share, subscribe, become a member. Okay, Geek Streets, Rogues level. You can even become, the top tier level, like a bunch of us have. Invest in Sil Abdul Inc. You will not be disappointed. You will know all kinds of things about these movies. Literally years ahead of time. You will know about stuff that is not coming out for a while, but you will know about it already. And the rest of the world is playing catch up. Exactly, Dan. No Way Home is the best example we can give you right now of having information years ahead of time. Mikey was right. Understand. And Mikey continues to be right. Krypton's Core says, Zod, just remember our stream will be R rated because I cuss like whenever. A viewer discretion will be advised. Yep. And Sox Bulletin agrees with Marcus Cruz. Marcus Cruz says, Taron Egerton is Wolverine. How do you feel about this? About that? It'll be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the X-Men again. I'm looking forward to seeing Wolverine. Now, BatDan, do you have any feelings whatsoever on X-Men or Wolverine or anything like
I
that?
don't really know who that is as an actor, and I haven't seen Wolverine. I like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I know they can't use him again forever. So I trust that this new version is going to be good. I did see Wolverine the movie, and I think Hugh Jackman had a perfect swan song. So I don't think
Yeah,
they need to bring him back.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Sox Bulletin says I'm fine with him as Logan. I trust in Kevin Feige. Marcus Cruz says agree. No Daniel Radcliffe as Logan. I'm fine with that.
Oh, they have to do a lot of camera tricks with Daniel Radcliffe because he's really short. He's like 5'5", I think.
Well, Wolverine in the comic books is very short.
Oh,
So
really?
he's Wolverine in the comic books is short and hairy. So
Oh,
Daniel Radcliffe could play that role. Marcus Cruz says, I think they are starting with the original 5 X-Men for the MCU. Sox Bulletin says, I'm fine with that. Jesse Allen says, DCEU fans are even confused with what WB are doing. So imagine how it would all look to general audiences. Exactly.
oh
Exactly.
yeah.
We're confused, right? We get confused all the time with all this nonsense. But yeah.
Well,
Um,
especially the Justice League versions, because officially we know that WB says that Justice League is canon, but we know the directors aren't going to follow that. But it does get a little confusing, and then you get like Wonder Woman 1984 that just says "F it all," only like the first movie's canon. So
and Marcus Cruz says general audiences reject the DCEU right now. And late night Q&A would not be complete without an appearance from the great Sharon Peters. Oh my God. Thank you, Sharon, for showing up. Sharon, I don't know if I'm your biggest fan, but I am a pretty big fan of you. I got to say that right now. I probably am your biggest fan. Sharon Peters says, "Hey, girlfriends," and Sharon Peters also says, "I just realized that Batman looks just like the Major League Baseball player Jesse Windler. What is that,
don't know
Windler
who
or
that is.
Winkler? I don't know. Windler, Jesse Windler. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't follow baseball that closely."
Neither do I.
Marcus Cruz says Zod people literally hate Amber Heard. There were 3 million people who signed a petition who wanted Amber Heard out and fired from Aquaman 2. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, yeah,
and
definitely there will be a challenge to
yeah,
deal with that. People do want her out. They may have to take her. Again, I don't
yeah,
know how. I don't know. It depends how much she's in the movie. If they can take her.
yeah. That's true. Well, I mean, they were saying that Amber Heard was only in the film for about 10 minutes. So
That could be
I
worse.
don't I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of I don't know. Yeah, you got to consider the source, I guess. El Necron says he's back again, and we've got Marcus Cruz. He says if people want to get mad at a scooper, get mad at Matt. Is that math culture or moth culture? The
But
real,
culture.
the real fake scooper. Krypton Score says that I said that it was me, the Thomas thing, and Syl and Mikey were fighting with me. I think he is Thomas. That's why he was confused about the script. Um, Wolverine in the comics is only 5'3". Uh, Strong Arm Flicks, what's up, man? Says, what's up, ZodWriter? Great stream as usual. Hi, everyone. Good, always good to see the great strong arm flicks in the chat. What's up, man? Marcus Cruz agrees. Says, yep, he's 5'3". Sox Bulletins says, hi, strong arm flicks. We got the great Noel Leon Flores, the artist for Mikey Sutton's Dreamwalker, live in the chat. I love it. I swear I'm gonna do a late night Q&A with Noel. If you would like to join me one day, sir, it would be great to interview you about your work with Mikey. It's incredible stuff. I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. He says Wolverine is Wolverine. Hugh Jackman got popular because of the role. Wolverine dictates the popularity, and not any actor. So whoever's capable is okay. Yeah, yeah. The audiences just love that character. I couldn't agree more with that statement. Thank you again, Noel, for being here, man. I appreciate you. And Savage Bat agreeing with Noel. Sox Bulletin saying hello to Noel, and Noel saying hello back. And I am finally caught up with the chat, which is a very rare thing here on Late Night Q&A. And that's the thing I try to do. I try to read all of your comments. It's one of those things that I try to do, because we have so many people who do YouTube videos and do these kinds of streams and don't really pay all that much attention to the chat. And I love it. I don't care if it hurts my voice. I definitely like to read all your comments. It's fun for me. Uh, Super Bro Corey says, when is BatDan starting a YouTube channel? The fans want to know.
Oh, putting me on the spot there, Corey. You would do that. So this week I am going to be after the 4th. I'm going to be in North Carolina visiting my grandma, so it's not going to happen this week. But I'm thinking one is I need to order headphones for myself so I can
I will
listen.
send you a link to the headset that I have so you can get that one.
And then I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel called BatDan's Thoughts, where like that'll be the name of the show at least. So I do have some ideas in mind. It just I'll be honest. The biggest thing that's holding me back from doing YouTube is just laziness. I'm just gonna be quite honest. It's literally just I'm lazy. So I was actually gonna start one do something on my birthday, but then it was my birthday, so I was busy. But you know what? Tell you what. Hopefully I'll stay with this. So again, not this next weekend because I'll be out of town, but the weekend after I might start something. It might just be a small little video. I might try to organize a stream. We'll see. So tell you what. Not again, the weekend of hold on, let me just check dates here. Let me just look at my phone for that. Okay, so not the weekend of the 9th, but the weekend of the 16th. Okay, so that weekend, Friday evening 15th through July 17th. I'll do something then. So live
All
on
right.
late night Q&A.
All right. Well, there you go. There you have it. An actual legitimate answer to the question. I got to admit, I give you a lot of credit for coming on here on live stream saying that you're lazy. I have to give you credit for saying that because that's pretty remarkable. And Super Bro Corey responds to that with a pow pow. So there you go. Batdan, you've been you've been a consistent panelist on a lot of people's YouTube channels for a number of years, and as you've seen what's happened, where we've all grown considerably as content creators since then. And I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts on how everybody is essentially growing, and the channels are getting bigger, and everything is kind of, it's all becoming close knit. In my mind, I feel like we're all networking on a level that is extremely positive. And of course, I feel like we're all being led under the banner right now of Sil Abdul Inc. And I feel like that's really the epicenter of where all the rest of us are kind of branching off from. I mean, it's nice to see Sox Bulletins doing YouTube videos. It's nice to see Savage Bat, and then now we're getting, and now Necron is branching out doing videos, and we're going to get the good Austin to start doing start his own YouTube channel. And all these various things that are happening are all spawning out of uh, you know the the Twitter chat of Versil Abdul Inc. We're all just kind of branching off of that, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what you think about all of that.
I think it's really great. I mean, Savage Bad, I don't think has been on YouTube that long, and he's already, the fact that like he was already able to get an interview with Anna Rose, someone who's very affiliated with Ezra Miller and is actually in the news of all this stuff going on. Not to keep going back to Ezra Miller, but I mean that's a huge deal. The fact that he was able to get there that quickly. So like Savage Bad is someone I'm very proud of, and Skywalker, even his little thing of just like kind of small videos walking around or being on his balcony, and I mean his channel's grown so much. And Trey, I love the Bat channel, the Spider channel,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. I mean, well, I don't want to say just Trey because Corey is, in my opinion, just as much part of that show as Trey is, and they both together. Like I just love Trey and Corey's chemistry on the Bat channel. They have such great brotherly chemistry.
Always, yes, it is great. And again, how you pointed out Skywalker. And Skywalker is always a pleasure to stream with. I mean, as someone who, when I think about someone who just came out of the blue with explosive, awesome content, that's who I think about. That's what I think of when I see Skywalker. Because Skywalker was another one like you who was kind of a consistent person in the chat groups, and then he would become like and then he was a panelist on a lot of people's channels. Then he decided to start his own channel, and I mean it's just been greatness ever since. And with Bat Channel, we already know. I mean, Bat Channel is amazing and is on so many, and has so many accolades. I mean, when I look at the Bat Channel, I'm just so happy with everything that I see, because that channel just gets better and better as time goes on. And Bat Channel is all about positive content. It's so beautiful. It's a great thing to see. Again, Trey and Corey are legends, and I'm just so happy to be affiliated with them in any way, in any way possible. So yes, all of those things are right. And then and of course, Savage Bat, as you pointed out, comes on the scene, gets an interview that even he didn't expect to get, and it's just something of beauty, because again, Savage Bat is another one of those guys that is so real and so on top of things. And again, another guy I just feel so honored to stream with and to know. to be around. These are all great people, Dan, and that's what I'm talking about. We're surrounded by greatness every day. And this is why we're so positive. This is why we're so happy. This is why we fight so hard against antis and people in the Snyderverse who think things differently and betas, if you will. We fight so hard against all of that because we're surrounded by positivity. Our bubble is a positive bubble. And that
Exactly.
and so why would we want to leave our positive bubble if we already have the best community possible and it continues to grow?
And that's what I love about the little network is that all the shows support each other. Is that Trey O is always like, no, please post a link to your YouTube channel on my chat. It's like we're not focused on other people. We're the only time we go our network has really gone after other people is when they've gone after us. I was
That's what I said. That's what I said. But if you ask them, apparently we go after them all the time. But you know what? I don't remember ever going after them until they started going after us.
we call it clapback for a reason. This is basically a good motto I have. Respect me and I'll respect you. Don't respect me and I won't respect you. And that includes my friends. Like when I see someone going after Sil and Mikey, I'll say, "Hey, knock it off." I remember on New Year's Eve, I got an argument with, and let's just say it was New Year's Eve, so I had a little bit to drink that night, and when I have a little bit to drink, and again
What
started,
was it? Now, was it on New Year's Eve? Was it Budweiser or was it some harder stuff?
it was a combination of things. So there was Budweiser, Angry Orchard, some Carlsberg beer.
Okay.
Another thing I love that's more alcohol-y is a soda vodka concoction. I have that all the time. Where actually, hold on a second, I'm going to show you what I drink my soda vodka concoction out of.
Okay. Cool. Super Bro Corey says we love you guys, and we love you too, Super Bro Corey. Man, great. I mean, come on. I mean, this community is so amazing, unbelievable. The best community. Ah, yes. See again. You know. Yep. I had one of those for BVS. All 7 times that I saw BVS in theaters, I had one of those. El Necron says facts. Yes, again, Necron, man. Oh, and I don't know. Have you seen Necron's channel? Have you seen he's doing like retrospectives on classic 80s movies?
I haven't seen that channel yet. I'll have to check that
Oh
one
yeah,
out.
you gotta check out Necron. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. Oh my god, fantastic.
Well, that's
And
what I love. There's so many channels. Is that on one hand we don't always have time to see them all, but I'm also happy that there's so much content that it means that we're doing a lot. Is that we don't always have time to see it all, but that's because we do so much of it, and that's what I love. Is
it's
that
beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And let's see, we got Socks Bulletins here saying one day me and El Necron will have to do a heavy metal show on YouTube. Wow, that'd be really something. Wouldn't that be something? El Necron says, just let me know when, Socks. And Tim's Talk says, Hulk smash that like button. Oh, yeah, will do. And we've got uh, nice BatDan spots. And Sharon Peters says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. BBC over BVS. Well, Sharon, I can, coming from you, I can totally understand.
I have no idea what BBC stands for.
Okay, well, I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, okay.
Uh Integrity 101 says happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to you as well. Happy 4th of July to all of the Americans in the chat. Happy Treason Day to all of the people in the UK, aka the Savage Bat and others. Oh, Strong Arm Flicks. I got my face about broke, but I'm still here. You should see the other guy. Well, I don't want to see the other guy. and I hope you recover soon. And I'm going to take your word for it, Strong Arm Flicks. I'm sure it was an amazing fight. El Necron says, River's Edge going live tonight. LOL. And let's see. Sharon Peters says, my gay friend is in a band, the Skin Flutes. Okay, Sharon. All right. And El Necron says, Google it, BatDan.
Okay, yep,
And,
just did. Okay, there we go. That makes sense based on what Sharon Peters has said in the chat.
and we've got Tim Tap with the fire emojis. And with that, you know what? I want to get BatDan's final thoughts here. I think we've had an incredible stream. BatDan, this was amazing. We've had incredible support from everybody here. Again, I think we are part of the greatest network and greatest chat community in the world. I've never seen anything so positive and so awesome. So, I kind of just want to get your final thoughts on everything before we wrap things up.
Well, I think there's a lot of great stuff happening. I'm really excited for the Snyderverse, but I think our little network is great. I mean, one thing that's the state of the world, it sucks right now. I'm going to be honest, but one thing that's really gotten me through this is all the great friends I've made here. Is the fact I made friends with like you, Sil, Trey, Corey. It's really all meant a lot to me. And Skywalker, and Savage Bat. I'm going to forget people. I'm sorry, but I think we have a lot of great stuff to look forward to. I hope things work out for the best with Ezra Miller. I hope things change with that. I hope that Ezra gets help for what they need to get help for. I hope they clear their name what they need to clear their name for, and go from there. But in general, I'm excited to get the completion to the story that I love so very much, and just a lot of good things happening. And despite all the drama, there's a lot to be excited for, and I'm looking forward to it.
I agree. I agree. And I just want to thank you so much for being here, for being, a part of Late Night Q&A. I've been wanting to have you on forever. I'm definitely going to have you back on again after you get your YouTube channel going. I'm really looking forward to that, Dan. I hope you have an incredible weekend. Hope you have a nice time. Are you considering the trip you're taking to be a little mini vacation of sorts?
Yeah, it will be because I work from home right now. So in fact, I'm actually on my work desk right now. So it's like my office is at home. So going away will be kind of a nice time to get away from the thoughts of work. Some of the drama of social. I kind of already detoxed a little bit from social media, but I'll probably do a little bit more detoxing because I'll be visiting my grandma, visiting my aunt. So it'll be nice to get away. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Excellent. And with that, again, so much positivity, so much love in the chat, so much love for these streams. And all of that being said, me and Dan are gonna get canceled, probably. So I'll see you next time for more. I'll have more late night Q&A for you this month. I got a lot of shows planned. I got a lot of things coming up. Some surprises I think you guys are going to like, man. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. You're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of great stuff coming up. I wish all of you a very happy 4th of July, a very wonderful weekend. I hope everything goes amazingly for everybody. This has just been wonderful. I'm just so happy. I'm like bursting with joy right now at how good this turned out because Dan and I were having some technical problems earlier, and I didn't think I was even going to be able to hear Dan on stream. I was getting a little bit worried. Dan, you don't understand. I was actually sweating a little bit. I'm like, oh no, oh no. But we're good, and it turned out good. Everything turned out great. Everybody is here, and we love the show. And I'm super excited, and I just can't wait to do it again. So with that being said, good night, everybody. Much love. See you next time. Great stream. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. And
Probably.
probably, yeah. Good night. Probably.